fast, but I made a couple thousand. Yeah, got me saying, GM, good morning, I hope you make a place. In a bear market, just trying to make a way, yeah. And these goblins crowding up the space, but it's kind of funny, so it's all good with me, yeah. Good morning, I hope you live it well. Counting up the spread, taking care of yourself, eh. Good morning, I hope you living good. Hopefully this ETH gon' get us out of here. GM, I'm already so frozen. I just saw the bag, it's a real good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NFT Live Fridays with your guy, DJ Savage. We got a fun uncle up top. Always fun having him. Let's give a big round of applause for Fun Uncle. We got Doc Gables over here, and as always, Nifty Q. How is everybody doing today? What's up, my guy, Fun Uncle?
I'm living, dude. My heart's still beating. Despite all odds, I am going against God's will every single day. And it's another glorious one to be on here with you guys. And last night, I was on Easy's new show with Kane Mayfield. And that guy, Kane, is an absolute riot. If you guys have not seen their show, it's a Twitter space. And oh my God, it was like the most fun 2.5 hours I've had in a long time, just like chatting with this guy. So you got to check out that show. It's every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LADZ City's Twitter, right? Or is it NFT Live's Twitter? Am I messing
it's NFT Live, and you held your ground well on that episode. Fun Uncle. Again,
I've been in the streets. I've been in some scraps. I can hold my own.
You held it
was
well, guys.
Fun sparring with him. Yeah, it was fun.
True. You guys need to check that out. Honestly, Thursdays. Like, I'm excited to see where Speakeasy goes. Like, it has legs. Everybody can kind of see that. That's also the first time I've felt, Savage, that you played that intro song that I felt like ETH is actually going to get us out the hood. It feels like there is a lot of things going. Gabe, settle down there with the lyrics. I know you got them ready to roll, but I just am excited about Ethereum for the first time. It definitely, I wouldn't say for the first time, but for the first time in a while, it feels like ETH has not only stabilized, but felt really good. So I'm definitely, we're going to get into ETH 2.0 stuff. We're going to have a lot of things going on, but Gabe, how you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm over here minting a Krapopolis NFT while you talk about Ethereum. I heard Dan Harmon on our show notes for today, and I thought, oh, I need to YOLO into that collection.
Hey, yeah, everyone loves a little bit of Dan Harmon. I was surprised they dropped it on. I guess we don't need to jump into that one, but I was surprised they dropped it on Rarible. I thought that was odd. But first time I've ever been over on that marketplace looking at something. They weren't too bad priced, like 0.1 or something like that. But everyone wants to start talking about the merge because that's the biggest news in the industry. What does everyone think? We gonna pump or are we gonna dump with ETH? I guess it's not 2.0, just called ETH. So what are we expecting, everybody? Uncle, you think we're dumping?
Oh yeah, man. I think it's going to be a long-term pump, but it's a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. A textbook buy the rumor, sell the news. In the same way that like Elon Musk, when he came on SNL, we saw a big pump in Dogecoin up until, and then after SNL, there was a massive dump. And so I think the same thing's going to happen. But if you're trying to day trade this, like scoop it up as quickly as you can. I think the dip's only going to last like a week after Ethereum 2.0 merge takes place. And that's going to keep going. And then I'm eyeballing like the election season as the potential that might be when the other shoe drops on this macroeconomic situation we have with inflation. And but like I want to go back to my thesis is like it's going to be a long-term pump. But we're going to have this short-term dip, I think, right after the announcement is made or right after the merger takes place, for sure.
No, I completely agree with that, too. And there is going to be a snapshot. For those people that don't know this, it feels like it's just kind of making its waves into, like, the general public's knowledge. But there is going to be some type of chain, whatever they end up calling it, Ethereum, Classic. It could be anything. But there is going to be some sort of chain where you're going to get airdropped these tokens. Now, what happens afterwards is kind of the question we're all sitting here debating, right? Does it hold any type of value? I'm thinking it's going to hold something. You know, whether that be $500, I doubt it holds 1,000 by any means. But it could go. I mean, who knows what happens? Like, this is the first time in the history of this chain, and we've been talking about it since 17. I remember them talking about ETH 2.0 when. Well, it's fucking happening September, and someone tell me the date because I forgot it, but it's happening.
17th or 18th or something like that. It'll be interesting to see what chains actually support the proof of stake version of Ethereum. I know Circle's already came out and said that they're not going to support any proof of stake Ethereum after the merge. They're rocking proof of work only. So, I mean, that's a big player over there. Circle's they carry a lot of power.
Wow.
What do you think,
I
Gabe?
read
Are
an
we
article-
pumping? Go ahead, Uncle.
I'm on the fence. Oh,
It doesn't matter.
You can take it.
Yeah, are we pumping or are we dumping, Gabe?
I think we're priced in. I would probably lay a bet on the dumping side. However, I'm not convinced we're necessarily going to plunge or anything. It might just be some sideways action even after. But I think some of the recent ETH actions, a byproduct of all of these successful tests on various test nets with the merge implementation. I will piggyback on something Q said. The various forks are going to be interesting. And if Bitcoin was any indicator, right? We know Bitcoin Cash was one of the first biggies, but then you had Super Bitcoin, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's Vision. All of these various sort of soft forks resulting in new chains where holders of Bitcoin, at least those that were self-custodying their Bitcoin, had access to these sort of secondary side chains, if you will. They're not really side chains, they're really just soft forks that they could claim using the same private key. Likely to see that here. At least one or more. We already know there's one conglomerate of miners signaling for a continued proof of work network, right? Because it's in their economic interest to do so, which is why that these are even why that's even in the discussion. But yeah, that'll be interesting. You might get a little freebie there on the side. So even if we get some lateral action or a little dump, maybe you'll make it up with the with the soft forks that are going to occur after the merge.
I think we are gonna all get a little bit of an airdrop. It's gonna be like that Uniswap situation where it's gonna be like a nice little gift. But I want to give a quick shout out to the chat. Alien River, Hash Rhymes, Savage was in the chat early, and often, guys, we just pressed live here. We're gonna talk ETH 2.0. We're gonna talk Tornado Cash member getting jailed here in just a second. Gabe, I want to turn this to NFTs as well. You have an NFT project. What does that mean for your project? Like, what is the technical as well as like the maybe less technical subjective side for you guys as ETH moves?
I was thinking about that this morning. The most interesting talking point for me is the fact that the network is now reducing 99% of its energy consumption, right? So you'll see a lot of people in the Web3 NFT space talking about how this is going to reduce gas fees. If you go read their FAQ, the Ethereum Foundation says it won't. People saying, oh, it's going to increase transactional throughput. It means less reliance on L2s. If you read their FAQ, they say it won't. So the big benefit here is that we're reducing the energy consumption and the carbon footprint of the network, which I think is great. As a project founder that's received flack for launching an NFT on a network that's not particularly green, I'd say that's some upside from a PR standpoint. But from a technical standpoint, things that we're building, we're still exploring L2s like Polygon, like FTM, like Avalanche for some of the products that we're producing in the next 6 months. Why? Because transactional throughput and gas fees aren't going anywhere. Sorry, everybody, if that was the change or benefit you were hoping to see.
I know some of the... Go ahead, Uncle.
What was really going on was they're trying to appease the all the green movement actions that have been taken against cryptocurrency, like all of this mining, results in CO2 emissions. And so that was one of the, I think maybe the biggest things that cryptocurrency got flack for during the last rally. And they're just trying to get ahead of that in this next bull run, I think is the real long-term play here.
Well, we can look at some of the stuff that our tornado guy got tossed in jail. We'll see how
Tornado
this
guy.
Yeah, it's Alexi. His
I wonder
name
if that's
is
how they booked him.
Oh man, his name is hard. I was gonna pronounce it. It's like Alexi something, but I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Yeah, well, this is interesting because he didn't really develop the entire chain. He started it and then it's open source, so anyone could, update it or change the code. and they caught him over in Amsterdam and arrested him. And we'll see how this all shakes out. I know there were some individuals on Twitter that were sending some Tornado Cash to random celebrities. So they went through and were sending 0.1 ETH that came from Tornado Cash over to a bunch of celebrities, different wallets. And none of these people are supposed to, use this tornadoed ETH. But we'll actually see what happens there, because this is kind of a joke. I mean, how do you section off 0.1 ETH? Like, you can't stop anyone from sending it to you. What do you do if someone sends you over a little bit of ETH? It's like, does that whole wallet now dead, or you have to file claims, or I don't know. This stuff's getting super confusing and annoying. What's everyone think about this tornado fiasco?
There's a storm coming, and we're all going to get swept up into the sky by this. No, I lost it. Sorry. But no, this is just maybe more of the sky is falling sort of news, to try to make the entire cryptocurrency market look bad. What might be just a small microcosm event that, I don't know. People like to pump bad news to try to tear down the market.
There's been a lot of that going around. I don't think we need any help.
In front of you there. You got some?
You talking to me? Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah.
Killing the flow. There's crosstalk and I couldn't hear it. This is just another example of why, if you're going to play with these networks, if you're going to have capital in cryptocurrency, use the decentralized networks. Like, there's a reason Bitcoin's number one and Ethereum's number two. And any project with like a clear set of founders, with a clear board, with individuals that can money launder or aid and abet hacking groups, like in the case of Tornado Cash, etc. That's a vulnerability and a liability. I'm pro decentralization, and I know a lot of current tokens, coins, networks have clear teams and investment behind them, but there's still value in the censorship resistance of a decentralized network, and Tornado was not it. So there you go.
It's interesting to me with Tornado Cash, why Monero, Zcash, and these other pieces that are very privacy focused didn't come under any type of regulatory, really backlash, where you see anybody on their teams being completely jailed. Instead, you see Tornado Guy being thrown in jail, as DJ Savage was talking about there. So we're going to talk ETH 2.0 and Tornado Cash. I think a little bit of that is important. Those are two larger pieces in the Ethereum ecosystem that affect Web3 and NFTs. Is ETH starting to come to a little bit of a maturity where regulators are saying, well, what the heck's going on here? Well, we need to do something about it. And then ETH 2.0, of course, is ETH 2.0. It's been talked about for the last 3 or 4 years. So definitely want to know what you guys are thinking there in the chat as well. I see Matt Radke in the house. Cryptophasia just jumped in as well. We just pressed live talking about privacy platform Tornado Cash. I mean, there was a big piece here too, that someone would take the code and create Tornado Cash 2 or something like this, because we can continue to go on because it's open source code without the team that created Tornado Cash and still be able to use that feature. I wonder if that exists or when that does hit. But go ahead, Uncle.
All I'm thinking about right now is how do people keep falling for these things? You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about yesterday on the Easy Show with Kay Mayfield, that maybe we need more barriers to entry. There needs to be more tests or IQ tests in order to get into Web3, because if not, you're going to fall prey to a lot of these snake oil salesmen out there, and you're going to get swindled out of your cryptocurrency because you don't know how to take all of the precautionary steps to, protect your assets in what we could, say is the wild west of Web3 right now, where people can literally just send you a little bit of cryptocurrency, and then that hacks into your wallet and you're able to steal the entire amount of it. Am I getting that right? That's what's going on with Tornado Cash? They just send you a small amount of money and then they can then scoop up the rest of your wallet? Is that what's going on?
No. Go ahead, Savage.
Okay.
No, for this one,
you need to take that IQ test, Uncle.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't buy Tornado Cash. At least I got that going for me,
Well, I can pull up an article actually that says that it's talking about it. What exactly is Tornado Cash? And what it is it's just a mixer. So if you got some ETH and you didn't want it to be linked back to your wallet, say you're a scammer. I mean, it could be anybody. So Vitalik talks about how he used it, and he said a bunch of people donated him crypto, and then he wanted to send that over to Ukraine, but he wanted to hide the identity of the people that sent him all the ETH. So he went through a mixer like Tornado. So it was, all the addresses that donated that ETH to him, when he sent it over to Ukraine, they couldn't be traced back to them. So they were sending 0.1 ETH to random people's wallets just because the Fed said, you're not allowed to interact with this protocol or this DApp. And if you do, there's a bunch of ramifications like jail time or fees or whatever. And I think someone on Twitter just said this is absolutely ridiculous and started dusting everyone with 0.1 ETH because you can't stop someone from sending you some ETH to your wallet. So if he had a bunch of Tornado Cash, ETH in a wallet, and say you had 25 ETH or something, he just broke it down into 0.1 and sent it to Shaq, sent it to, all these different celebrities. And then they have to deal with it because now you have the feds or whoever coming after you for playing around in Tornado Cash. It's ridiculous. You can't control that. You can't stop who's going to send you money. So it's just a mixer.
Is this an extradition scenario where they're going to like extradite this guy to the U.S.? Like this happened in, I believe you said Amsterdam. Is this based on SEC and IRS and just the Fed trying to I'm just wondering what is this situation? Like, is this the FBI? Is this the CIA going after this guy? I don't understand how because again, Amsterdam, not familiar with their economic and regulatory structure, but it feels like this is coming from the U.S. and they just arrested the guy.
This is the U.S. Department of Treasury that is pursuing this.
Yeah, but it looks like the Netherlands are it's a sort of co-op thing. So Netherlands Fiscal Information and Investigation Service, the FIOD, seems to be the group that put the pressure on him in his home country. So, certainly sounds like we have some agencies here that do not like mixers or tumblers, but that other countries are on board with the same sentiment.
Q said, why was Tornado Cash getting targeted and not like Monero? And I think that's because Tornado Cash is only used for this purpose. Its sole purpose is to mix up the identity of where you got your ETH from. If you go jump in Monero, maybe you just want to use that chain. Whereas there's no reason to use Tornado Cash other than you're hiding something in your past that's attached to that ETH.
But you still have privacy features that the U.S. government and the regulatory people that make the rules don't like on those other chains. But I see what you mean. This might be the low-hanging fruit for them to go after. Crypto Buffalo's in the house saying sup lads. This just has it's almost going to be impossible for these people, and when I say people, I mean the government, to regulate what's happening here. I already mentioned one route that they're going to go, which is they're just going to take the open source code that is Tornado Cash and create something completely the same. It's going to look exactly the same. Front end might look the same. They might change the name. I don't know what, and I don't know who's going to do it, but it's going to happen. And then what? You go after those people, and then you go after the people that do it again. So it seems like a wild goose chase. They're going to make an example, like we said on this show this past week and the week prior. They're going to make an example of these people. The guy they arrested, Mr. Tornado Man, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully that it's almost like they're trying to instill fear, and that is their way that they're going to regulate this, right? They're going to say, hey, look what happens if you try and do this. But I feel like there's always going to be some ballsy.
It's like the war on drugs. It's just like, LimeWire and Pirate Bay and Kazaa, they're going to go after the servers and the figureheads, but it's like trying to stop herpes. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to keep spreading. Shaq's got it now. Who else did you say's got it? Everyone's got it, so they can't stop it.
Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's got it. Oh my gosh. This is
statistically, most people have it now that we're
I might have Tornado Cash, and I don't even know it. I got to check my wallet right now. Everyone, quick, check your wallets for Tornado Cash.
They could send some tumbled ETH my way. I mean, I don't mind. Just if you want to send me 0.1 or whatever, just send
Make
it
use
over.
of it.
What are the implications here? What are the implications here for Adapt that, again, I'll put it back to Gabe here. Like, Gabe's building an application in a game. What is the implication of someone having used Tornado Cash then playing the game that you're creating, earning funds or spending funds? Like, that's what I think Savage was getting at. It's like so far reaching. Where does it stop? You know, like,
it depends, right? Like, what we're building, you know, we're trying to never actually be a point of custody where we're controlling users' funds. But imagine if I were operating a DeFi product, or maybe some sort of crypto or Ethereum based dApp that maybe even had some light KYC or AML. Like, maybe I was categorized as a money services business, for example. That would implement some problems. Like, that would be someone that would have to go through my compliance department, right? Or that would be a list of transactions that would throw up some red flags. Admittedly, I've used tumblers in the past. I used to play a moderate amount of online poker, and sometimes you'd be playing on a site that didn't accept customers in your area. And so I'd be on a VPN and I'd tumble some funds. And you know what? It wasn't particularly, maybe it wasn't legal from a poker online gambling standpoint. I think the statute of limitations is over, but there's like practical reasons why people use these things that aren't particularly nefarious, right? Like, sometimes you just want to cover your tracks from just a mere privacy standpoint, right? Like, why do some people use VPNs all the time?
Second chance, you know. We should rise from the ashes like a phoenix and become a new person. Yeah.
No second chances if it's skipping on taxes, guys. Sorry to tell you, but
there you go.
Get in front of that while you can, guys. We are sitting here on NFT Live. It's although ETH has felt like it's pumping, it's felt like the NFT space, and the charts show this, right? The volume is still low. The projects that are being, I guess, like, I wouldn't call them recycled. I think there is, some newer projects that are, I would say, quote unquote, innovating potentially. I'm just not getting involved in a lot of NFT projects these days, but there is things happening. But yeah, we're sitting here on NFT Live. We're going to bring you the news that does exist and does affect us. So definitely leave a like if you can. Get to our Twitter, retweet, help the episode get out there. I'm sitting with some wonderful people here, but I want to bring it back a little bit too, unless we have any last thoughts on Tornado Cash there, to ETH 2.0, and just kind of get our last thoughts there as well, right? I think this is just probably the biggest story in crypto in the past couple of years. So, and it's going to have some far-reaching effects. But yeah, wherever you guys want to take that, by all means.
Everyone else said it was going to dump. I think it's going up, but I guess it depends on what you consider dumping. We pumped up to 1,800. I don't think we're going to dip below $1,000. So even if it fell, we were just at 1,200 a couple of weeks ago, we might fall back to our lows from a week or two ago, but I don't see it dipping below 1,000. And then, I was reading an Arthur Hayes article. That's one of Nifty's favorite. He says it's going up to 5K probably before the end of the year. So Arthur's a smart guy. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not going to go down before it goes up, but 5K Ethereum 2023 sounds real nice. Like, I'm feeling that.
I'm really feeling it.
The problem is that's in a vacuum where there's no more new bad news. Like, I can buy into that hypothesis if no more bad stuff happens. But the fact that we've got this election coming up, and I know that the Republicans want to take the House, I know they're going to be just smear campaign, like all kinds of different things, and specifically trying to tank the market, not only stock market, but all markets. To make it look like the Democrats did this. You know what I'm saying? Weave that narrative like the economy sucks because of Joe Biden, and we need to get some Republicans in the House. We don't know who that's going to be. I know Donald Trump's going to run again for sure, but we'll just see how far he's going to make it. And, he's lubricant for both good and bad. So that's just what I'm thinking, but I want to believe that no more new bad news. The bottom is in. This is the lowest cryptocurrencies will ever be. I want to live in that fantasy, but I just see this election coming up and Donald Trump is still alive. So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Dude, yeah, that's what you explain like whether it's like a negative, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like you're saying if everything goes well, then
Yes.
maybe we get to 5K. Well, think about the other side of that. Well, even though they've done all these upgrades or potential like test nets and all these things and nothing's happened, who's to say this goes really well? This merge, this move to ETH 2.0,
Yeah,
that's the biggest fear. It's like it's almost crazy how much it's not being talked about. Even though like I'm sure a lot of other channels like us are talking about it, there's a lot of threads. It affects everyone. It affects everyone. And what the fuck happens if it doesn't go well? Like, and I don't even know what that means when it's coming out of my mouth there. Like, it's just,
and I have that fear too. Is that was this rushed? They've been delaying ETH 2, they're delaying ETH 2, and now the market's bad. They're just like, oh, well, we need some good news, And so my concern is that the leadership team might have pushed this out to get some more good news in what has been maybe the bloodiest year in a long time. Would you say this is the bloodiest dump or so far? Like to go from 65,000 to 19,000?
But I mean,
not from a percentage standpoint.
It was at 19,000 earlier in the year, though, so it just fell back to where it was. Whereas in 2017, 2018, it fell pretty hard. So I don't know. This one feels bad. Maybe it's just because I'm sitting in it. I didn't lose as much money in that one.
I'm also really hopeful in that, like, whenever we launched the Hubble telescope, like, we fucked that up. That was a multi-billion-dollar disaster, but we were able to just send up a couple more astronauts, install some gyroscopic stabilizers, and we fixed the Hubble telescope. And so maybe the same thing, like the concern is this is a rushed video game, and they're trying to get this video game out before it's fully developed. But if it does go bad, maybe they'll send us some astronauts and fix the Hubble telescope. You guys know what I'm saying?
What an analogy. Go ahead, Gabe.
It doesn't feel rushed to me. This seems thoughtful. There seems to be thorough testing. Thorough bug bounties. Yeah, users are trying to break it. Also, we know historically with Ethereum, there are fixes for things when stuff goes awry. The controversial rollback of Ethereum resulting in Ethereum Classic when the DAO hack occurred. Like, they have fail safes. They're not good. And arguably they break some of the core tenets of what blockchain and decentralization are all about. But if stuff goes awry, there are fixes. They can roll it back, they can revert to proof of work for a little bit, and they can continue on while they work and sort out the bugs. So I'm not so concerned about it going awry, or if it does, it's not going to be the catastrophe that we might see with a centralized product or product launch that people are anxiously anticipating in non-Web3 land. But yeah, I don't know. I still think we're priced in. I don't think we're going to dump necessarily, but I think a lot of the current ETH valuations are a byproduct of all this anticipation. And it looks good. It looks real good.
What are you pulling up over here, Nifty?
So I'm pulling up of the many 100 different threads that are out there on they moved from proof of work to proof of stake and all the things that are going to happen. One of the ones that I found super interesting here the past week was this by Olympio. He was basically laying out like, here's what you should do. So I'm going to link that in the chat after we're done going through this. But the main thing he's saying again here is that there is going to be a snapshot. What type of windfall that is for everybody in the industry. I mean, if you go back to even Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, for the people that were holding Bitcoin and ETH at those times, that was an extremely lucrative windfall for them to be able to then fork it. I think Bitcoin Cash was in like 16, 17. So essentially what he's saying is this is what you need to do to get ready, right? You need to make sure that you have on-chain ETH in your wallets. There's an ability potentially, if you want to get kind of crazy with this, and traders are definitely making this play, which is probably leading to this bid up to 2K, right? People taking ETH loans for other assets. So they're trying to get ETH in their wallets. And there's a whole bunch of other trading fiasco future stuff that you can get yourself into. But essentially what this means is people are trying to even borrow ETH so that when this snapshot occurs before the merge, they have that in their wallet. Therefore, the ETH is going to be dropped into their wallet. Even if it was lent to them, if it happens at this snapshot, that's who the ETH is going to go to. Other things he's saying is get ready to have your account ready on exchanges that offer ETH. I know Poloniex, Justin Sun has been coming out a bunch and talking about how they're going to support the proof of work token here. So just giving you more context on this move. right? Like there's going to be an opportunity here if you hold ETH in your non-custodial, wallets. Even some exchanges might offer this. They did that for Bitcoin Cash as well. So just getting yourself ready. So I don't know if you guys have questions on that or if you want to take that anywhere.
What is that fourth bullet? Is he referring to the ETH merge as the shit chain and POW as the non-shit chain?
I think
I saw this tweet earlier and I was unsure of where he stood on this.
Do you mean this dump all POW assets?
No, have a ready to go account on the greedy exchanges supporting the shit chain.
The shit chain.
I think the shit chain.
I think what he means is the proof of work chain is going to have its own token. Again, you're going to get dropped these tokens. So there's two ways you could play it. You could either sell it immediately, which is what he's talking about here. You need to make sure that you have an account that's ready to receive those shit tokens so that you can then sell them as fast as possible.
Yes,
exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for framing that better for me.
Before the dump.
Yes. Well, good luck. There's going to be a dump. So I don't know who's going to be first, but congratulations to you. But the other play, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and the airdrop's likely to be another RPC, right? So these are soft forks we're talking about. Behaviorally, it's similar to an airdrop, right? But you're likely going to have to add another network to your MetaMask or whatever your self-custodial wallet of choice is in order to access those tokens. But it will be the same seed phrase or private key as, say, your main Ethereum account. And much like Polygon or FTM or many of these other networks you might have added to your MetaMask, this will be a very similar scenario.
I was talking to Mike Finch from Propy Capital just to wrap this thread up and then move where we need to move. But Mike Finch from Propy Capital saying basically like there's going to be this massive dump, and the smarter players, the larger exchanges, and all these things that have vested interest in seeing the token actually do well, they're going to wait out that initial dump because there is going to be this huge supply dump, right? Happened to Uniswap as well. Once they first drop those tokens, everyone's selling them, and then when it bottoms, that's the opportunity, for if you want to play that game after this entire supply is dropped on, the community that exists. Whenever that bottoms is, again, buy low, sell high. I know that's easier to say in I guess theory, but that's what a lot of these smarter players I feel like are waiting for is the supply to kind of hit and then the dump, and then they see what they can do.
With Circle saying they're not going to support proof of work, and they've got big ties with politicians and regulations and stuff, I wonder if that's going to set a precedent for other chains and they're going to start banning it too. It's going to be real interesting to see how the proof of work ETH token that pops up proliferates like across the industry, because it seems like Circle's the one closest to regulation in the US, and if they're already coming out and saying we're not going to support it, I wonder how many other exchanges are going to follow suit.
I don't want to hop in front of anybody here, but this stuff fascinates me. NFTs are another thing to this ETH 2.0 move. There's another thread out there. I don't know exactly. I don't even know where to put it up, so I'm just going to talk about it with you guys. But essentially, when this does happen, there's going to be NFTs on this proof of work chain that are literally mirrored to the other chain. I'm gonna have 2 Bored Apes, basically, right? Like, or you're gonna have 2 Doodles, or all of these assets are gonna be legitimately mirrored. So at some point, very close to this merge, there is going to be NFTs on both chains that are worth something. Now, over time, if you think the shit chain is gonna happen, those will tend towards zero, right? Like, who's gonna buy my proof of work ape? Right, 2 months from now, it depends on whether the chain is good. So there's a game theory here that's going on. Gabe, you got anything? You're way smarter than me on this. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. So these are soft forks. So assuming the new network supports all of the token protocols that have been implemented to date on Ethereum, ERC 721s, 1155s, etc. All of those will duplicate at the time of a soft fork for ETH POW, for example, which means we duplicate the entire history of every Ethereum mainnet NFT that's ever been made. So if you own one NFT, one Bored Ape in the case of Q. You're going to now have two. You're going to have one on ETH mainnet, which is now proof of stake, and you're going to have another one on the proof of work network. Now, whether or not the likes of OpenSea or the other marketplaces will support the proof of work network, so you can actually have a marketplace and maybe ascribe some value, but kind of interesting behaviorally, right? Does this mean that every user now gets to sort of fractionalize their NFT? What does this mean for the creators? Are they okay with this? They don't really have a choice. There's no consent here. And do the same licensing and rights for the IP within the NFT get granted to that second one? I don't know. Lots of questions. How does this get navigated? I think it's
that's
really
amazing. What a thought experiment, actually. Because now I'm thinking about, you're right. OpenSea probably won't even allow for it, so there's be a blockade on them. But there will be these like ghost companies, these like third-party companies that like dig them out from the grave. Especially Bored Ape Yacht Club. I could see people trying to harvest those NFTs for sure if there's Bored Ape price attributed to them.
So the other thing, I was just thinking this is me in real time going through the logistics of this. How metadata is pointed to with standard Ethereum-based NFTs. I think everyone on this call knows this, but not necessarily everyone in the audience. Is you set a base URI where you're pointing to the repository of the metadata, right? So the blockchain contains that history of ownership, that provenance, but really the metadata is elsewhere. And sometimes it's on decentralized protocols like interplanetary file system. They're often using Pinata to deploy this. There's other decentralized protocols. What project founders could do is they could, because they will still have the keys to the contract, to at least whatever their launch wallets were, their admin wallets for these various collections, they could set the base URI to null, thus negating all the metadata on those proof of work versions of the NFTs. So some teams, though, in the case of the Bored Apes, those are frozen. I'm pretty sure, like, you get the frozen icon on OpenSea, and it's basically by locking the metadata. I do not know if Yuga has any access to change that base URI at this juncture. Some teams may not for their respective collections. We could, for example, like BitElectro could make an executive decision and say, hey, we're going to change the base URI on the proof of work network. So we're just mainnet and we don't support the proof of work network, for example, which might, there might be some economic incentive for teams to do so. There might not. It might be an interesting opportunity for users to fractionalize or share their NFT or various collections with their friends on the proof of work side. So this will be a very interesting thought experiment and also a practical one for many teams and collectors.
I know I have a CyberKong that was moved over to a different chain, and that one sits in my wallet and says it's untradeable. So, I have two Kongs in my wallet. You can see them both sitting here, but, one of them I can't sell. If I zoom in on it, I don't even remember my mouse is, but it says untradeable underneath it.
Yeah. There it is. Yep.
So maybe that's what I'll do.
That would be at the behest of the teams, right? Assuming, or the marketplaces, depending, because that's not going to be a default sort of thing there. This will have to occur at a marketplace or contract level, depending on the options they set.
I can smell the scams coming from a mile away. They're coming.
Is that what that smell is?
That's why
space.
Uncle, I want to get more of your takes here, because it seems like, I feel like we can have a larger discussion on it. We do have other topics to get to, but it sounds like you're super interested in this topic. Guys, we're on NFT Live right now. We are discussing ETH 2.0. We discussed Tornado Cash. We've got a ton of stories that Savage has compiled as well that we're going to get to here in a second. Want to give a quick shout out to the chat. Dickenza saying, yo, here for yet another celebrity NFT not holding up alpha. I wonder what I would love to see like the pricing data on celebrity NFTs. That probably looks like a sad chart there. I doubt, like my Lindsay Lohan, although I love it, is not. I think that's untradeable as well, but that's for another reason.
She's got an NFT. What?
I remember that episode.
You know about this one? All right.
I remember Q took a lot of flack for buying that one. I remember that episode. That was a fun one.
By a lot of flack, you mean XPOW coming into every NFT live and saying you have a Lindsay Lohan NFT, which is completely fine. Gabe, I'll look it up while you're there. Fun Uncle, let me know, dude. Like any other thoughts, ETH 2.0, because it seems like you're super interested in that NFT piece as well.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking about, you were mentioning celebrity NFTs specifically, and how, people go around saying all the time, like, this dress was owned by Marilyn Monroe, or this car was once owned by Frank Sinatra. And the proof of that information is very like hearsay and subjective. But with NFTs and cryptocurrencies, we can actually like definitively prove that yes, these celebrities did own this asset at one time. And so I think there will be this like very, very expensive market for like posthumous, like when these celebrities die, these NFTs, whenever they go to the fund or whatever, will be worth millions and millions of dollars. And so I see what they're doing. They're trying to make this like an exclusive club where the value is attributed to the fact that celebrities owned it at one time. And that's where my mind went. And then the other place my mind cannot escape from with ETH 2.0 is how do you pull out an ETH loan? And do we think that it's going to offset the interest? Because that is a very interesting idea, that like the amount of shit ETH you could get could potentially offset the interest on that loan that you pull out, and then some. Is a very interesting play. And that's just assuming that we continue to drift upwards over the next couple months, and that dip,
that's true,
the price value of both Ethereum and the shit Ethereum dipping simultaneously will put you in ruins. You have to file for bankruptcy. It's this interesting high risk, low reward situation here that I can't stop thinking about.
The financial guys are definitely having that exact conversation with each other, right? The guys way smarter than me. They're having that exact conversation. Is this going to offset the amount I'm going to pay to actually, borrow this? And that's probably, yeah. I mean, I think we will continue to grind upwards until we see that snapshot. And then there's going to be that major dump, right? Like that in my mind, that's what it looks like. But yeah, here's in all her glory. I like this. Like, this is the type of shit, like, and now coming back to it, I have way better art than I used to. So maybe this is not exactly the best play. But the only thing that I didn't like about this is the hand, I think, is like a little bit janky.
Is that Lindsay Lohan? Is that who
that's what I'm saying?
Is that Lindsay Lohan? Yeah. I don't know about that.
With the ETH, with the gold ETH?
That's not Lindsay Lohan.
Come on now. Oh,
well, I pulled a picture of Lindsay Lohan now. Now I got to see Lindsay. I don't think that's.
It's airbrushed.
Trying to figure out the hand rendering there.
Oh
with
man,
my hand up. Couldn't figure it out how they arrived at that thumb. I googled it a moment ago, and she also has a furry. Apparently, there's a furry NFT tied to her.
Don't get me started, Gabe.
I'm gonna have to shut down the show early, so if you can go grab that one.
For work.
Kane Mayfield's mouth is watering right now. I know that.
Oh my.
He just says that's bad, and we're getting a bunch of laughs. Crypto Buffalo Q, when are you gonna hang that brute frame Bruce Buffer? Interesting. I'm not gonna answer that.
Let's go. Is that Bruce Buffer behind you?
No,
the man, the myth.
It's Anthony Bourdain, and I'm getting a bunch of shit for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, what happened to
why would I have a Bruce Buffer?
I don't know.
Poster?
Maybe you're a hardcore UFC announcer fan.
That dude makes a lot of money for his couple seconds in the ring.
Cool.
That would be a sweet job, flying around just to say it's time. Like, I wish I had that on the stream deck right now. That's I can pull it up.
Who
Bourdain's
who is looking at that being like he's my hero? Bruce Buffer's my freaking hero.
Man,
awesome. Although
that's a job right there. I want that job.
There's the job and then the man. But yeah, I got you.
Hey, him and his brother are both announcers. That's like a family business. They're making money over there. Like I'd put something up of his over there hating.
That's a great story. If you ever go into the history of those two as announcers, I won't go on a tangent here, but they were separated at birth. Well, not at birth. They're a few years apart, but they were separated in their childhood. So only later did Bruce Buffer discover that his older brother was actually that the ring announcer was related to him, and then he got into the profession. Anyway, Switching it up here, guys. Hitting you with the combat sports announcer facts. Welcome to NFT Live. Let's restart. Anyway, all right. Sorry, everybody.
Clip it. That's the advertisement right there. Clip it.
Exactly.
Well,
Savage. I don't say this that often, but Savage, can you veer us back on course?
I was gonna say, Q's always giving me crap about these horrible transitions, but here's a literal crap transition. Dan Harmon is releasing a Krapopolis NFT where you get to vote on it and different stuff. And if you don't know Dan Harmon, he's the guy that makes Rick and Morty, and he's releasing a series of NFTs, and you're going to be able to vote on stuff. So you'll be able to get your NFT characters in there. You'll be able to kind of like control the show a little bit and how it's going to. Maybe I can mute this and play this one so I don't get sauced. But they're putting out a sweet little NFT project, and it's over on the Rarible marketplace. And I actually pulled it up right before we went on here. I've never actually been on Rarible, but they weren't too expensive. And anything that Dan Harmon touches, it blows up, does wonderful stuff. So I was pretty excited about this one. I feel like this one just kind of hit the news and hasn't really blown up or anything yet. So maybe we'll be the ones to blow it up right here on NFT Live.
Dude, you're right. Anything Dan Harmon touches turns to gold. The Rick and Morty fans are absolutely insane fanatics. Like, this project is going to sell out and do extraordinarily well. And then the fact that this is on the back of a new Rick and Morty season, like, holy crap, this is going to be everywhere.
Something I feel like the lead was buried there. Like, it said coming to Fox in 2023. Like, that's probably the first time I've seen. Like, I know at first I'm like, is this like a Stoner Cats play where we're like gonna eventually get a series or something like that on a big network? That said Fox in 2023. This might be the first time we've seen a large media series or whatever be on NFTs. That's crazy. I'm mind blown. I'm speechless, I guess.
Glad to see that. I mean, that's sort of the grand experiment in a lot of these media and entertainment brand focused NFTs. Some of them will succeed, launch their TV shows, movies. Some of them likely won't. Curious to see a piece of IP in the consumptive media space leading with an NFT, but already having that TV show on deck. I minted one. Apparently they're all chickens right now. Is this correct? You're minting a Krap chicken, they're calling it.
Yep.
So I have a chicken with a golden sword. Pretty pleased about that. Anyway.
Wait, you got a gold sword?
Is it a chicken or a rooster? Sword. Are they trying to go for the you just got a shit cock?
Someone called Gift Dead.
Is a shit cock
I think it's a rooster.
Let's see. Oh, it is a chicken. It says Krap chicken. Okay.
Yeah, Krap chickens.
Okay. I'm just like,
but that is a rooster.
They couldn't say cock, so they called it a chicken. All right. I get it.
Look at you guys putting all the thought into it. It's a rooster. It's a chicken.
Is it a rooster? Exactly.
I can see our roosters. You're right.
It's a crap cock.
Krap chicken.
It's going on Fox. I'm sure they were worried about the use of language on Fox, so they went with chickens, not cocks.
That's
probably
Uncle
what
still
it was.
thinks he's on Speakeasy. That's what he's doing.
All right, yeah.
Oh,
man. They're trying to get canceled on Speakeasy, and I love it. I want to pour some gasoline on that fire. That's just a theme.
That needs like an NC-17 rating, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Nifty breaking stuff over there. Hopefully it didn't get on the computer.
Cover.
Yeah, we moved off it already. 1.8 owners. They've already hit 150 ETH. That's pretty nice right there. And you can see they are all chickens or cocks or roosters, whatever you would like to call them. What did they say?
Mint opened yesterday, I think.
I mean, if you minted one, you would probably be the one to know. I think it's I think it's what it said.
We don't do research here.
It's okay. I did.
Nah, I didn't have time to buy one right before. I was thinking about it though.
I phrased it as a question, but I knew, yes, the mint opened yesterday. So it might be a slow burn, but they are minting.
Have you used the Rarible market before this one? Did you already have an account over there and stuff?
I minted this directly on their site. I have used Rarible in the past. At least at the beginning of 2021. I remember it was fun. You could look at Mark Cuban's wallet and see all the weird stuff he was buying on Rarible back then. Yeah, I honestly haven't been there in months, but have used it previously.
And I was smelling that a little bit when you started talking about the story, is that the reason they went with Rarible is there was definitely a sweetheart deal worked out between Dan Harmon's team. And, you know, that's the reason he didn't go to one of the bigger players, is because Rarible, who has fallen out of relevancy recently, has like, oh, well, we'll give you an excellent deal on the back end and lower the percentage on minting prices or something if you please bring your Rick and Morty fanatics back over to Rarible, you know?
I was reading, this just came out in August. They were saying Rarible's still the #2 marketplace.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if, I mean, I've never used it. I think Nifty's right there with me. I'm like, I don't know where you got your data from. I don't know if I believe that. I've not used Rarible, Super Rare Foundation, Myth Market, Bakery. I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff on here I've never even used or thought about using.
Easy and Crypto just joined. What up, lads? Good to see you here, Easy. I think Rarible has like a tokenomics thing, and I'm not sure what that distribution looks like now, but there was a lot of heavy wash trading, especially when it first came out, because people were trying to get that Rari token. I don't know what that looks like now, but if they have any type of distribution of the Rari token for trading, then it's likely just wash trading, you know, the like small, low value NFTs, and that's what leads to Rarible being seen like that.
I mean, whatever they're doing, it got them up on the statistics for #2. So maybe I'll start looking at Rarible NFTs more often. Go over there and surf Mark Cuban's wallet.
That's where I bought my Lindsay Lohan NFT. Pocket 3S says the Simpsons director David Silverman is doing a project about Cats 2. So it looks like we got a lot of heavy hitters here getting in. Love to see it.
What else?
Easy. Thanks for having me on your show, dude. Speakeasy was such a blast last night. Everyone, you got to check out their show Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was fun, honestly. And Kane Mayfield needs his own show. He needs to be on the speakerphone 24/7, 365. I want a camera following him and his life around all the time. He probably is, because I could just tell he's going from, you know, place to place, to Twitter space to Twitter space. When we did Speakeasy, he said he was coming out of his second one, and that was his, and Speakeasy was his third Twitter space of the day. So like Kane Mayfield, if you don't know about him, you will soon. This guy is an unstoppable force. And Easy, thank you so much for having me on. I'll do it again. Sign me up. Let's keep going.
Whenever I've interacted with Kane, I've kind of always thought he should have his own comedy show. And if he's out there listening, niftycomedians.io, my brother. You could do your own stand-up, and you could sell your jokes over here, and people will buy them for Polygon or Near. So maybe I'm putting you on something, my guy. I think you missed your calling. Maybe you should be in some comedy. And right here at the NFT Live show with DJ Savage, we're going to put you on, put some money in your pocket. I know when I sent my mom the link to NFT Live, it was the Kane Mayfield episode, and she said, "Man, who's that guy, Kane? I don't know how much you interact with him, but you should have him on your show every week. I could listen to him always." And I was like, "Nothing to review about me, Mom. All right, sounds good. I'm glad you like Kane."
He's wild. He's so fun. And I bet you, like, if we got him and like just followed him to all of his buddies, you know, like the guys that make him laugh, you know, like, wow, that's why we need some Kane Mayfield TV 24/7. Follow him around.
So this niftycomedians.io, what's the story here? Do you like mint that and those are the only ones that exist? So
yeah, you can actually just content? Like buy their jokes. So like I was reading on how it popped up, and they were saying it popped up on like, it was COVID, you know, a lot of your comedians were putting out jokes and then someone else was stealing them, putting them on their show. So if you go actually mint it on Nifty Comedians, your joke, like, you own it. It's on the blockchain. People can't steal it. And then you can actually sell it off to other people or, you know, do whatever. It's a new way of like getting found. I thought it was super cool.
Does this mean I own the rights to the joke, which means I can use it in my own stand-up special? So I can just go buy 45 minutes of
Carlos
zingers,
Mencia style, right?
There you go. Exactly. So this is you know, commodifying joke stealing. I'm going to go to my local open mic with 10 minutes in Nifty Comedians and just slay. Let's do it. Only cost me a quarter ETH.
Yeah, they were
kidding,
saying it.
Obviously.
Oh, I got the wrong screen up here, Fun Uncle. What's up, buddy?
Wants to see Uncle's nice face.
They were saying it's going to allow you to do a bunch of stuff. So if you're selling tickets to a show or something like that, they were saying something like 20% goes back to the artists. But if you start doing it on Nifty Comedian, you know, they're getting a much larger chunk. You know, over here they're getting $2 if it's on like a regular streaming one. But if it's in the new platform in Nifty Comedians, you know, they're getting 80%, 90% of that. He's actually getting 18 instead of 2 because they're only paying a little bit to host up there. Now, if you own the joke, I don't know. It's probably down here. I think I read about that before. I was on here, but I don't actually remember if you. I think you do own the joke. It's yours.
Favorite jokes, which they now have a license to.
Well, what's cool about this is, for example, you've never heard Seinfeld tell the black box joke again. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's no grapes, there's no nuts. Why do they call it grape nuts? You know, because he's basically retired that joke and he's never going to tell it ever again. What a cool idea for like small comedians who are now reinventing their bit, like coming up with a new hour and they're retiring an old hour to make some back end money on these jokes they'll never use again. You know what I'm saying? And then how there are TV shows like sitcoms that'll hire in comedians, have them coming into a writer's room and be like, hey, can you help us make this scene more funny? And how this is just streamlining that process. You know, these producers who are trying to juice up their sitcom with more jokes can then just source this, buy them straight up, and then insert them into the show without worrying about any of those, you know, copyright complications.
It's almost like a pool of jokes that someone can come into and like a marketplace where you're like, oh, I really like that joke, I want to use that, and I buy it there. That's I like that idea, Uncle.
I was just like trying to, you know, liven up the mood after I listened to some Speakeasy. Didn't really want to jump right into like crypto news. You can't go from like ultra funny Kane into like reading about the ETH 2.0 merge, and that's a hard transition. So I was just searching up some comedians and actually found this website. I thought it was really cool. They've only got like 40 comedians or something on there right now. Think like the market you could break into if you like are into crypto NFTs and you're a comedian. I mean, 41, you're getting a big market share right there. And we're pumping it right here on NFT Live. I mean, come on, how much better like advertisement or whatever do you get?
And if you're a new comedian, right, to be able to say like, hey, one of my old jokes was just used on the Conan show, you know, like that kind of thing to help boost you up in the standings on open mics and stuff like that. I think this is great.
Yeah, and then you don't have to use any like middlemen. You don't have to like have your producer get a cut of that. You know, you're hosting it yourself right up on the website. If someone buys it, it's right into your wallet. Wow, hopefully they've got a ledger or something out there, so it's not a hot wallet. Mm-hmm. That would not be funny. Losing all your money. What do you think,
guys?
Nifty?
I want to. No, I mean I like the use case there. I think these are like little things that I feel like might be a part of our daily life in 2 to 3 years whenever this technology starts to like really kind of make itself. But it seems like a novel idea at this point. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. Yeah, I did have one piece here. So Easy's like absolutely spamming the chat, which I love. So good to see Easy in the house here as we're on NFT Live. I want to share my screen real quick because we touched on this with Gifted, and it was literally just me and Gifted. So I want to get your guys' take here on this updated Rate My Bag segment. I know you guys haven't seen it in a while, Gabe. I think you have been here for some construction of this Rate My Bag segment. So I want to show my screen and get a little bit of an update here on the space as it exists today. So there it is. We have an updated Rate My Bag segment. I want to get your take just right off the bat with where you see these projects. And yeah, I'd love to take it. We moved some pieces around on Wednesday, I believe. Doodles, MAYC moved down to A. Yetis was moving up because of their recent announcement. Some of this stuff needs to be worked out so that we have a more solidified plan on what we're even rating beyond like just reflexive news pieces. But you let me know, guys. What do you think of this Rate My Bag segment right now?
VFriends stands out to me I'm wondering why that's in the A category. Is it because he's a leader in the space, or is there so much, utility and community behind that one that you see it as a power player? Because it's hard for me to put VFriends in the same category as CryptoPunks. You know what I'm saying?
We did get a lot of comments last Wednesday, like I was saying when we were looking at this, that CryptoPunks should be in the S category.
Yeah, I'd probably put CryptoPunks up there.
Okay, I've gotten enough comments. Okay,
right.
All right,
right.
Who's
there
that
we go.
far
Movement
left?
on the channel.
That's
Cyber Brokers, I believe.
On the A column, that's Cyber Brokers. Interesting. Okay,
that is Cyber Brokers. Again, a lot of this stuff hasn't moved for months, so we took a quick look at it. I'm down to move anything around here.
I mean, I own a Cool Cat. You can move that up to S just for my my bags. Let's pump them, guys.
was going to say CyberKong should move up as well, into the A.
Hey,
that might be a hot take.
I'm down to support that one. Hey, there's a party coming up on the 27th I'm hosting. That right there should be enough reason why CyberKongs is in the A category. I support that, Fun Uncle.
I mean, Gutter Cats, I would put below CyberKongs, is what I'm trying to say. Like that kind of conversation. And then same with Mutant Apes. Like, I love that project, and I think they've got a lot of momentum, but I don't think they're at CyberKong's momentum.
Mutant Apes?
I think.
Is that what I'm looking at right there?
Yeah. That is a Mutant Ape.
Oh, that is a Mutant Ape. Oh, okay. I thought I meant Caked Apes. Sorry, I got those mixed up. You know what I'm talking about? Caked Apes? That looks like
no Caked Apes.
In the small frame there. But that's a Mutant Ape. Got it.
Hey, I'm fully up for supporting CyberKongs up to A. I like CyberKongs. I got a bunch of VXs and stuff. Yeah, what's chat decide?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if CyberKongs can move up to A, we'll lean on the chat here. I'm okay with potentially moving CyberKongs up to A. I would not say that by any means they're over Mutant Apes. Not only because I'm extremely biased, but I just think the ape community or the Yuga Labs ecosystem in general should kind of baseline a day. But
yeah, I mean, Yuga's top in the industry, so
probably drop the Robotos down a peg, to be honest. I don't think they're at the same status as a Moonbird or a Dead Fella at this juncture, even though I do like the Robotos. I'd maybe throw them down to D even. What's Yeti doing creeping up? Why is the Yeti back at C? I know you guys did a show on Monday about them, but what are they doing over here? I know that's been a meme thing, but
yeah.
All right.
Well,
on the same
they
level
held
as
it
goblins
S for a long time. Yeah. So looking at this, and I might be just like a short term. I need to like adjust my thinking on this stuff because I'm like, whenever I see like something in the news that's consistently taking up my feed, like a 10K TF, that might be a scenario where I'm in a little bit of an echo chamber, maybe. But I'm seeing a lot of 10K TF, and therefore I look at this and I'm like, This seems not in the right place. But again, I'm open to kind of like seeing where anybody is going to land. But yeah, the Yetis had some announcement here, so they moved from D to C because they launched some land sale here over the past week. Every time I talk about Yetis, I feel like an asshole trying to hear. Yeah, I'm completely, the Yetis throw me through a loop.
Well, we got Hash Rhymes is saying that CyberKong should move up to A or S tier. So that is a vote towards a movement. But I can feel the resistance in your voice. You're tensing up. How is that butthole? Is it making diamonds right now as we talk about this?
It's full diamonds. We can definitely. I could see CyberKong
diamonds
here.
moment.
I'm okay with that.
Oh,
swap it for Cyber Brokers. You got the empty spot. Someone's got to come down. It's Cyber Brokers. I don't even know what that project is. Okay, and I'm looking at them.
Woo!
I don't know. I don't love the art. I'm just gonna say that. What are they brokering? Looks like they're gonna be brokering my Wendy's order pretty soon. All right.
Hash Rhymes is saying
that cybers.
Hash Rhymes saying that CyberKongs have been doing a lot recently, and we should be publicizing it more.
Hey, that's
I'm
my
okay
biggest
with-
bag.
I'm
Let's go.
okay with doing that.
Hash rhymes is a brilliant mod. I fully support that. Yeah, you can move.
Hash, you're
making
making
some-
Q nervous.
We're making here's the deal is like Rate My Bags has like been in and out of NFT Live, and to Gift Dad's point that we had on Wednesday, there's no like rating system, so it's really like I'm kind of putting this out there and we're kind of moving stuff around, and I'm cool with that. I want to do that, but I get caught up every time now because I'm like, what are we rating here? Are we rating brand? Are we rating the fact that they
Community?
launched something recently?
I know Pungy
I think
Penguins.
that's what makes it fun. It can be all
Punchy-
over the place.
Yeah, Punchy
It's
Penguins
All
subjective.
sorts of
True.
subjective stuff.
launched like in real life drop or something like that. I know they've been pumping recently.
Nice, good on them.
Isn't Azuki like rather high in price for a D? I know it's Azuki,
Again,
but
there's a great point. Like, are we
Yeah.
bringing price into
Is it-
these?
is
these
it
ratings?
price? Yeah.
I mean,
don't
I
know.
thought Azuki was going to go to 0, and they're still holding rather strong. So they've all proven me wrong.
Yeah,
And when Buffalo was on here, we were talking about Subducks. I feel like they were pumping rather hard to be in D too.
Easy's saying probably what we're all thinking here. It's a feels rating system at this point. I also trend towards like I think what is like more of a brand. I think that I'm thinking about my shit in real time here, but it feels like the way that I'm trying to rate these is based on their brand and reputation, which can in this fast space change rapidly. But yeah. So we got a CyberKongz move here.
Yeah, I think they deserve that first spot on A. They're looking lonely over there on the far right.
Wow. No, that's Mutant Apes.
I don't know if we have so these aren't like in any relative order, but we will pop out of Rate My Bags. Any last thoughts here before we move? I think we've had some movement here. So we've seen some movement. Cool Cat's down to C
Ouch.
is a comment there.
That's a nice brand, though. If we're talking about brands, I mean, Cool Cat's going to be around. I don't see Cool Cats going anywhere. That's a big brand.
Cooltopia in NYC was pretty incredible. Like I don't know, maybe bump them to B, but I wouldn't go so far as C.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's one of the only NFTs I interact with every day. I send my cool pet on a little mission to get some milk.
So here's a brand that's been in the space and doing some things like relatively, I guess, recent in the space. So Moonbirds, what are your guys' thoughts on Moonbirds being at B based on what's happened in the past week or two with the CCO stuff?
That's a huge brand. I thought it was maybe even an A possibility.
I think sentiment will return to positive, and they'll be back in the A status soon.
Okay.
That's my take.
All right. Well, we will. I'll move the CyberKongz. I got strong armed into moving CyberKongz. CyberKongz had a great day here on NFT Live, but we are going to pop out of Rate My Bags. If you guys have any last few stories you want to hit, please let me know, and we can kind of close out the episode here in the next 10 minutes.
I thought Fun Uncle was going to tell us a story. He was starting to tell us the story before.
Oh, right.
Before we jumped on, and then we decided to save it for the show. So I want.
It's about Rick and Morty. It's about Rick and
Is
Morty.
it? Oh, that's right. Let's hear it. This
Yeah.
plays into our earlier topic.
So I was doing a bikini photo shoot in Ibiza, Spain, back this in 2018, and we had rented a villa, and it's myself, another photographer named Mike, and we had 6 other models staying with us. And in the morning, an episode of Rick and Morty had aired that previous night. So my other photographer, Mike, and I were like, we need to watch this episode. And it ended up being the Whirly Durly Conspiracy was the episode that had come out the night previously. I'd set up the VPN. I'm getting it hooked in, and all the models are standing in the living room just like, hey, it's 90 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. We're in Ibiza right now. Like, what are you doing? We should be doing a photo shoot right now. I'm like, no. We have to watch this episode of Rick and Morty. We have to do this. And the girls started getting pissed. Like, what the fuck are you doing? We're like, no, sit down and watch this episode. All the girls watched the entire episode, The World of Daily Conspiracy, and afterwards they were like, that was great. That's a great show. What's that called? Rick and Morty? We never heard of that before. And it was like one of those like vindicating moments. The other photographer, Mike, and I talk about it all the time. Like, those girls were pissed at us. But then as soon as they watched the episode, they're like, this Rick and Morty show is pretty good. We like it. All right, cool. That was totally worth our time while we're on vacation in Ibiza. And we're like, yes, you know, kind of a sign of like how great of a show Rick and Morty is. And it captures a wide net of audience, not just like us male nerds, but it's also, there's something for everybody. Even these models got something out of the show. And so that's like one of my favorite stories ever is like, we're on location, perfect weather outside. And we're like, no, we have to watch Rick and Morty. This vacation's on hold right now.
I love it. Does this mean you're bullish on the Krapopolis NFTs?
Scoop them
You
up.
already bought 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You did buy 2.
I am a
like
crap
it.
cock.
I might have to buy a second. I am a crap cock. Oh my. Oh my.
We can close out this episode.
story.
We can't not talk about some huge news. There was a Florida house that was sold as an NFT, and they've got a new DApp coming out called Propy, and it was able to just sell the house immediately. I mean, there was no waiting. They talk about, you know, what an NFT is and stuff in this article, but this is pretty big news. I mean, he sold it for some Ethereum. I think, what did he say? He sold it for $600,000 or something like that. Yep, $654,000 or 210 ETH. And you actually own the NFT in your wallet as well as the house. I thought this was like the future. And of course, it's Florida that's doing it. It's nice to see them coming out with some good news out of Florida. Usually it's like, you know, woman on crocodile bites someone's face off. That's usually what you see coming out of Florida. It's nice to see a change where they are doing something in our industry, selling a house. It's a good looking house down there too.
Well, this
doesn't look
goes
like
either
600,000.
way. There was a $15 million place in Manhattan that was listed for a certain amount of ETH, and they did it before the crash happened. And so the listing price had it at $15 million, but because ETH dropped, it lost, I think, $6 or $7 million in value. And so it's just one of those things that, like, it's risky to do, could go either way. We're going to need more stability in the cryptocurrency before we see more of it. And it sounds like this guy in Florida just caught, you know, the good end of the deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, he priced his house at the bottom and then sold it as Ethereum was going up, and got $600,000 for that dilapidated shack. Can you pull that up again? That's a $600,000 house in Florida. Is
That's
it
what I was
by the
thinking.
water at least? Like,
maybe it's
whoever bought
waterfront.
that got screwed. There better be beachfront. If you turn the camera around, I better be looking at a beach, because there's no way that single story house with no garage in Florida.
It's a hot market.
I think it's
God.
cute. It's like a little, what do you call it? Like a mid-century rambler, that you might say. I mean, not your cup of tea. I'm just
But for
$600,000,
That could be like-
it's a,
be like downtown Miami.
Very expensive for what it appears. It must be in a hot
Insane.
area. I think it's cool to see stuff like this, though. We've seen sort of inklings of this, like putting assets on the blockchain. I know there's been a couple luxury goods auctioneers that have done that, where you buy the luxury good with an NFT or via an NFT. They send you the physical. Kind of novel for a house. This sort of piggybacks on something I've been looking into lately, is like blockchain, or not blockchain, but crypto-backed loans. I'm not talking through DeFi, but rather collateralizing a loan via cryptocurrency for something like a house or a car. And we see lenders out there building products around this thesis, which is kind of interesting, because a lot of conventional creditors don't take into account things like your crypto holdings, right? Whether you're applying for small business loan, personal loan, mortgage. So having these touch points, or even someone transacting an entire home in cryptocurrency, is a step forward for the legitimacy of digital assets for these uses. So I'm kind of glad to see such things.
In the article, it says it was purchased in ETH, but it didn't say that that was the only option that they offered on that DApp. So, I mean, if you're looking to reduce your risk and you wanted a specific price for your house, you could have still sold it in cryptocurrency and used Tether or, you know, USDC or something too. That, you know, I don't know if that's actually a feature on their app or not, because the article didn't talk about that, but that would still be selling in crypto, wouldn't it? It's still a token.
These have to be these house prices have to be like pegged to USD. Like there's no way that someone's gonna be like, I'm gonna peg this to continuously Ethereum. That makes
Right.
And,
Well,
and then
too
like
volatile.
Uncle's piece. Yeah. I mean, you could pay it for it in ETH, but it has to be pegged in USD.
I mean, it also depends on how fast houses are selling down there too. I know, like my neighbor's house has been up for sale for a bit, but 2 months ago, you couldn't have put your house on the market for a day before someone swooped in and bought it above market price. So maybe it just depends on the market that's down there. They might list it at 210 ETH and then immediately get an offer that day. So there's not a whole lot of risk selling it like that. Whereas I feel like the housing market's kind of taking a dip now, so it might be on the market a little bit longer than a couple of days. So you are doing some risk, absolutely, if you're going to sell an ETH now. But maybe houses don't stay for sale for very long in Florida. All those boomers down there buying up these ramblers.
Digits is saying 600K. That's like 100K where I'm at. And then Easy in Crypto says what everyone is thinking, that it's actually an underground mansion. So
The sex dungeon is on the third floor. Yeah. Sub basement 3 is where the swimming pool is. Right.
Sex dungeon, as we're just rated by some spammers
sex
on the
dungeon.
site.
Yeah, a Web3 sex dungeon just came through.
there's going to be a strong amount, especially on these Friday episodes that are hosted by Savage. There's going to be a strong amount of like archived videos that are talking about things that in 10 years are going to be like commonplace. You know what I mean? Like we talk about a lot of that stuff here. And maybe it doesn't have a lot of usage now, but things like this, yeah. I like that you bring them up here, Savage, because they're going to be used predominantly here in the next 10 years.
I know it takes
really
forever.
makes sense-
Go ahead, Uncle.
I was gonna say, what makes the most sense to me is like my mortgage, my home warranty, like all of those pages of paperwork that get associated with my home ownership should be some kind of digital smart contract, whether it's an NFT or some new innovation. That really does make the most sense to me, because we don't have to worry about the volatility of the base coin. It's just literally like, why is it that if my house burns down, I got to call some agency to pull up my paperwork when I really should just have it folded into an NFT? And then all that other additional stuff, like I've got a new hot water heater, or the warranty on, my home, or my earthquake insurance, like all of that stuff should be folded into the same NFT that I can access whenever I want. And that's the real use case that I think will be our transitionary lily pad step forward into getting more homes on the blockchain. But you're right. Yeah. Cryptocurrency, the way it is right now, it really more is like, I think, a tax loophole for some people who are trying to offload some Ethereum and get a house at the same time. Might be the real.
Or how about maybe it'll get rid of realtors, period, because you can just sell it on a marketplace. I think that's the biggest scam there is.
Yes.
Like, I have $1 million house. You're going to take a percentage of my sale? Get out of here. Get out of here. No, you get $5,000 because that's the level of work you did. It took 2 months to get that license, maybe 2 weeks. You're not getting 60 grand from me. That's a scam.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would agree with all that sentiment. I'm going to piggyback on something Fun Uncle said. I don't necessarily think it needs to be an NFT, but we do need some interoperability of the data, right? I think of something that's actually happening in my home state. Washoe County in Nevada uses blockchain for certified records. They basically contract with a blockchain company, and they have blockchain provenance, or at least ETH-based provenance, for certified things like marriage certificates, death certificates, etc. And piggybacking on something Savage said, yeah, like why not put escrow on the blockchain? We know that's like a very basic sort of like smart contract function, right? The ability to have a third party be a mediary while you're closing on a house, for example. Like get rid of the real estate agent, get rid of the escrow agency. Like let's make this a little more peer-to-peer and reduce the redundancies in between that are basically nickel and diming homeowners. In full agreement there, Savage.
Yeah, thinking about selling the house and giving someone a percentage of it, it hurts. It hurts. I don't know how.
I can do the paperwork.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'd rather give the money to you, Fun Uncle. It'll make
always sell
it
out
a
of
lot
Storm.
funner. What's up, Nifty?
It's a racket for sure.
No, I'm just listening. I do like the idea, but also it's also very, very scary when you think about like making these, putting them on the blockchain, allowing different applications to start trading them, and the implication of that, right? Like you can start to have like real-time pricing data for houses. If someone can go on a Uniswap and buy a portion of a house or an apartment in Manhattan and all these different things, but how does the ownership work? Like what if somebody gets hacked, their NFT, you know what I'm saying? Like their NFT that represents their home for whatever reason, follow me down that rabbit hole. Like what happens if they get hacked and someone else owns it? Do they actually own the house? Like all of these things come into play when you talk about financialization. Go ahead, Gabe.
Well, think of it as like a data problem rather than like using the same frameworks or rails we're using for, trading pictures of cats and apes. Think of it more so as we're using an interoperable like data exchange, right? We have an enterprise layer blockchain solution. And the records are the same. There still needs to be signatures. There's still digital versions with metadata of all the standard documentation that you'd see in conventional, enterprise mortgage businesses, et cetera. And then kind of what you described in terms of like fractionalizing, say, ownership of a home, it's not too dissimilar from like a REIT or a conventional financial product where you're productizing mortgages. So we've kind of touched into a few interesting things here. And I think there's a way to do it where you're not just exposing users playing with blockchain as a potential data store or use case for some of these things we're talking about, escrow, home ownership, et cetera, but rather package it in a way that doesn't open up the same vulnerabilities that MetaMask provides on DeFi stuff. So it's got to be like a hybrid product of some sort, but eliminating redundancies in personnel and creating efficiencies and reducing costs for the users. So there's a $1 billion product in there somewhere if someone wants to bring it to market.
I wonder if selling your house as an NFT, the tax implications are different. Like are crypto taxes less than homeownership taxes? I mean, I guess it depends on your state. Maybe you have, no crypto tax in your state, but you've got, high real estate tax or something. Maybe it's a way to skirt around some taxes.
Yeah,
my guess would be it would still be a real estate tax, right? And anyway, yeah.
Gabe's on to something there. Like as it exists today, and who knows about it in the future, but it's just a representation of what already exists, in a more efficient way. So I think
there's another story I heard out of Chicago during COVID. A bunch of criminals went around to houses that were vacant, kicked in the doors, changed out the locks, and then rented them out to people. Got the first and last month's rent from these people because they were convinced these were the actual owners of the home. And there was this whole news article about police raids on these houses to move out families who thought they legitimately were renting houses from the owners. And now we go back to this cryptocurrency NFT problem where I can actually just check right away, do you own the house or not? On the blockchain, verifiably that you do not own the house.
Yeah. So same thing. We need enterprise grade blockchain in that instance where the user, maybe they found the house through a rental app, maybe they found it on Zillow. There just needs to be a single sort of authenticated thing where they say, hey, are you John Doe that owns this house? They say, yep, I can sign it here on my my MLS app, whatever it happens to be, demonstrating, yes, I am indeed the owner. I have access to the key, or at least the management key in the case of using a management agency, et cetera. But the tricky part is getting everyone on the same data structure, right? Or maybe even legislating that people need to use this, or I don't know. It's a tricky thing, right? You have different parties with different financial interests. Obviously, I'd say the real estate industry as a whole would be wildly averse to what we're proposing because it reduces reduces a lot of their need and expertise to be there. I think about it. Half my friends have a real estate license, right? And most of them don't work in real estate, but it's like they got bored one summer, decided to take the test, and then sold a couple houses. And I'm like, really? I'm paying this dingus what 2.5%, 5% depending, to help facilitate the sale of a house. Give me a break. I mean, sorry, realtors, it's a garbage profession. Okay.
I do love when anyone uses. I love the word dingus too. Thanks for utilizing the word dingus. In a way. Yeah. And I also heard there are more real estate agents than houses for sale currently. Like there are more agents than homes. Period in the United States. Just like you said that like so many people took the test and then went back to their real job, you know?
Yeah.
I heard there were more homes for sale than there were homeless people. Like we could give every homeless person a whole house that's
Yeah,
sitting
that's
empty,
true.
owned by a bank somewhere. But that's not the solution.
Utah's got a cool program for that. We're out here solving, macro social woes here today on NFT Live. But three individuals with mostly JPEGs of cats and fish and dogs.
Yep.
I just bought a chicken for a talk. We're out here working on hard social problems today with all of our expertise in trading illustrated pictures of animals.
Us degens looking down on other degens that are selling houses.
Exactly. What's worse? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, this has
These
definitely been.
solutions will be used. Yeah, go ahead, Savage.
I was going to say this has definitely been a super fun episode of NFT Live. I think I'm excited to get off of here and go look at Rarible and maybe find myself a Krapopolis cock or rooster or whatever we're calling them.
Yeah, apologies to any real estate people here in the chat.
They know.
I don't even.
They know.
I don't even know. They know.
They know.
Like, I'm a dingus. I already knew I'm a dingus.
Sorry. I mean, I'm not going to apologize. But, the technologists need to automate you out of a profession.
Well, that's easy
I'm
for you to
sorry.
say. Gabe. This isn't your network. This isn't your channel. You just come here.
Yeah.
Fuck real estate agents. I'm out.
My opinion does reflect the general opinions of all NFT and LADZ City hosts. Sorry, I'm not even on their network. This is the last time you'll see me on NFT Live. You just lost. I'm just kidding. I take it back. It's not a garbage profession, okay? But it is predatory, all right? Okay? Low barrier to entry, and you get 5% of my home sale. Come on, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay?
We're actually gaining subscribers.
We're hitting a new market.
Ticker number is just going crazy. Guys, this has been NFT Live. Amazing conversation. We're going to continue here, but I just want to, this is my last, we definitely have to run pretty soon and hopefully not get this channel taken off of YouTube. But yeah, guys, this has been amazing. Great conversation with ETH 2.0, with Tornado Cash, with all these real world implications for NFTs as well. Uncle Gabe, Savage, take us out, man. Definitely want to get your last thoughts here.
Always a fun episode. I love it when Fun Uncle joins us, brings such a good like humor to the. You're a mini Kane. That's what you are, Mr. Fun Uncle.
Ooh,
I'm the white Barack Obama, as GIF would say. Oh, you guys, never mind. Out of context, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, now we're definitely getting canceled.
All right, so Fun Uncle's new episode this Sunday, the top 5 Web3 projects. Tune into LADZ City. You're going to see more of Fun Uncle talking about my top 5 favorite Web3 projects. So tune in for that on Sunday.
Love it. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for tolerating my harsh criticisms of real estate professions. And maybe I'll be back here next week. Maybe I'll be forever permabanned from NFT Live, but it's been fun.
Hey, you know what? If you're a realtor and you disagree, you just got to jump in the Discord and tell us. We've got great moderators. They will shut that down right away. They will say it's a trash profession. It's okay. Just kidding.
Those dinguses. I love that word so much.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. This has been super fun. Later, guys.
Peace. OVOT, except to real estate agents.
And these goblins crowding up the space, but it's kind of funny, so it's all good with me, yeah. Good morning, I hope you living well. Kinda not spread, taking care of yourself, babe. Good morning, I hope you living good. Hopefully this ETH gon' get us out of here. GM, now my wrist so frozen. I just saw the bag, it's a real good morning. And I'm burning all my gas, but I made a couple $1,000.